Welcome to the Trailblazers podcast. This is a space where we have real conversations with people who are creating their own unique path, and they're also inspiring so many people along their journeys. And today, this is a slightly different kind of conversation, one that invites you to pause and reflect. I'm in conversation with Srikanthan Kumarasamy, a master certified coach with the ICF. He's very widely known as a coach for coaches in India, and he has been supporting many on their journey from ACC to PCC and even MCC. But beyond the credentials, this is really a conversation about the inner journey. What it means to listen deeply, to hold space, and to create real change. We also talk about something very special, how he and his son Lakshan have come together to build a unique platform for coach education in India. And they're inspiring so many aspiring coaches along the way. If you're someone who is exploring growth or simply taking a moment to reflect, this might stay with you. Stay tuned to the Trailblazers podcast. Thank you. Welcome to the Trailblazers podcast, where we bring you real stories of people who are not following a conventional path, but they're quietly and steadily building their own, very own unique path, and they're also inspiring others through their journeys. So today we have a special guest in the podcast studio. He's none other than Srikanthan Kumarasamy. He's an engineer by training, an IIT graduate, and he's popularly known as the coach's coach in India. He holds a Master Certified Coach credential, MCC, with the ICF, International Coaching Federation. It's one of the highest levels of coaching mastery in the world. He's a mentor coach, a coaching supervisor, and someone who has quietly become the go-to person for coaches themselves across India. He co-founded Guiding Light with his son Lakshan, who is also a PCC coach, and he and his son together in 2025 alone have supported 37% of all new ICF credentials awarded in India. So, but more than any of this, Sri is someone who has done the inner work, and he constantly does more and more, and he helps others to do that. And today it's my honor and privilege to welcome him to Trailblazers Studio. Thank you so much, Sri, for accepting and being on this podcast.
Thank you, Sandhya, for that very wonderful introduction. I'm glad you're recording this and I can play this to my wife because she doesn't feel that. She keeps asking, what the hell do you do? I said, yeah, this introduction will perhaps serve her better.
Okay, definitely. It's on the recording, so I will definitely share that. So, Sri, before we step into the conversation, we recently met at the PSS Professional Speaker Summit, and it was an honor for me to meet you finally. I've been hearing about you for the past many years. Me, myself, being a PCC coach, I've heard about you, but I've never met you like directly like that. But it felt really humbling to meet you. You're so grounded, and whatever I heard about you was, I felt it was true when I met you. So I want to hear from you, like, where did coaching find you? How did that happen?
That's a good question. Before I answer the question, I want to acknowledge I'm really humbled by the kind words that you shared. Where did coaching meet me? I think 2005, when I was lost in my career or even life, I found a counselor to get some help. At the end of the conversation, the counselor told me that I don't need counseling, I need coaching. That was the first time I came across this word coaching. And she also gave a couple of references. So I met one person in Bangalore. I didn't know what coaching was, but I worked with that person. Later, only when I got introduced to ICF way of coaching in 2009, when I was working as a senior leader in Microsoft, me along with another 29 leaders were put in one room to learn about coaching so that we can develop people. That's when I got to know about ICF coaching, and that is when I realized the person who I worked with was not an ICF coach, but they were an NLP practitioner. But I benefited a lot. That's how I got into coaching and I got hooked. Really aligned with my leadership style because I completely believe that if you give the space and the time for those who are working with you And if you don't come in their way, I think they can really tap into their potential. That's a strong belief that I have. So this adding value business is something I never liked. Okay, I struggle to add value to people.
Right.
So this perfectly fitted into my way of leadership. That is how I got into coaching. Once we finished the coach training, 3 months, we were asked to coach employees in the organization. And then I also took the opportunity to coach a lot many people in the organization. And maybe by end of that 1 year, 2010, and I must have accumulated about 1,000 hours of experience coaching so many individuals. That is how coaching came into my life.
That's beautiful. So, starting off itself, you became like a mentor coach. You already started coaching a lot of people, and because of your leadership style and the way it got aligned with your beliefs, I think it truly found you.
Yeah.
So, I was reading about your journey, about how you wanted to digress away from the corporate life and you wanted to start your own coaching career. And you've hit a lot of roadblocks. I was reading about your story. Could you share something that really caused you to somehow come out of it and then make it into a successful route?
Sure, absolutely. It's my pleasure to share my story because a lot of people think that success is overnight. It is not. So
Yes.
2011 I quit my Microsoft job and started my coaching practice. When I say I started my coaching practice, it was not only coaching. I wanted to do consulting, I wanted to do some training and so on and so forth. I didn't have my credentials because I felt that credentials was not important. It took me more than 1 year to realize that coaching skills are not enough to be successful in running a business. By the time I had lost a lot of money. When I say lost of money, I was eating into my savings, and then the work did not flow in the way that I expected it to flow in. So I had to kind of take a decision to wind up and maybe go and do something else. End of when I say I did not wind up, I kind of slowed down on my coaching assignments, and I joined one of my friends in a startup, and I was doing multiple things just to make sure that I keep the lights on and the food on the table. I need to make some money. But this coaching kept calling me again, I mean, back again. See, of course, when I say you, I had a option of going back to corporate, but I felt that I was not feeling very comfortable going back to corporate. I was okay doing some startups. I was okay to experiment something. For some reason, I didn't want to go back to corporate. So 2014 beginning, I wanted to get my credentials. Because I had got my coaching education and my coaching hours, I had not got my mentoring to get my credentials. So I went to an institute to look for mentor coaching. But I was told that because of my experience that I had in the industry and all the client coaching hours I had acquired over the years, it would be better for me to apply for a PCC credentials directly because then the opportunity of getting clients will be much more. So that's the reason I signed up with them. But end of the training and after getting my credential in 2006, things had not changed. It remained the same. Then I went back to the same institute, asked them what is perhaps that I should be doing. They said maybe you should look at doing an MCC, and it was not landing very well with me. Like this is like a never-ending journey. Anyway, I dropped the idea. I went and looked for somebody who can help me start a coaching business. I found somebody. Sometime in 2017, I worked with the person, but I knew that after a couple of weeks, they really didn't have the knowledge to support me through the journey. I lost a lot of money, and I said, no more coaching. I'm just going back to consulting. 2018, I took up a full time consulting assignment and decided to be in the consulting space only. Coaching was a calling, as I keep telling several people. But whenever I got an opportunity, I would continue coaching. What got me back to coaching again is when the pandemic hit into 2020 March, I lost my full time assignment. My son was interning with the same company. His salary had reduced quite a bit, and that's when my son told me maybe we should look at this again. He had no idea what he told me, but he felt that because this time around he was there, we can do something, and that is how we got into coaching business again. For me, it was the third time. For him, it was the first time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you must have gone through a lot internally during these multiple transitions, coaching, consulting, you know, and also probably it was meant to happen through your son. And such a powerful duo, I find. I met you both and so grounded and, focused on what you're doing. It's amazing to find a parent and a son nowadays, and it's hard to listen for, I mean, mutually, right? For the parent and the kids to listen to each other. And I have a lot of advice to take from you. How did that even happen? If you could share. So, do you coach each
Sure.
other? What happens?
I don't think you should take advice. I will share my experience. Maybe from the experience, we can draw some insights. So far, I have coached, I don't know, a couple of hundred people, and I must have accumulated more than 5,000 hours. If I tell you this, you may not believe it. I have never coached my son. I never coached my son. I decided that I will not coach because if I mean, I can be a good coach and so on and so forth, but I felt that if I get into coaching him, my agenda may come in the way, and I never coached him. Right.
Right.
So I have asked him to work with a couple of my outstanding mentees who are great coaches. So he has worked with one. So whenever he has something to resolve or he wants some help, then he will go to one or two of them and get coaching done. However, whatever I've learned from my coach training, I use that very effectively to have conversations with my son, which means I'm completely present to him whenever we are having a conversation. I listen to him without any judgments. I share whatever is I feel like sharing and let him know that hey, this is what I feel. By end of the day, it is your decision. Okay. It doesn't mean that we don't have any differences as far as work is concerned. You will be surprised. Work style is very, very different. Our value system, you will be surprised that we did an exercise. My top three values and his top three values are very different. Yet we are able to work together because we have a shared goal. We want to look at certain things. So the point I want to make is Sandhya, just because he's my son, it doesn't mean that he has to think like me, he has to work like me. We have to think together. We don't have to think alike. That's the difference. So what this has helped me in doing is because of the relationship that I have with my son. People who are working with us, faculty who are working with us, they draw a lot of inspiration. They draw a lot of insights seeing the way that we work. I'm repeating this once again. It is not that everything we agree. We disagree on many things, but we don't end up having fights. We have our own different views, and somehow we will get to a place. Okay, now let's keep our views, our opinions aside, and look at what is the goal that we want to achieve. We have a shared goal for the organization. What will help us to get to the goal? There could be small differences in the way that we do things, right? Designing a brochure, very simple things. The other thing also, because I think I mentioned to you in the beginning, I have a style where I believe the other person is resourceful and we can find a way. And also allow others to make mistakes. What is the harm in allowing people to make mistakes? They make mistakes. They learn. I strongly believe that making mistakes and failing will teach more than you will ever learn through succeeding something. Make mistakes. Okay, perfectly fine.
And whatever you said, thinking together, it doesn't have to be like not alike, but you still think together and you work for the common vision and mission that you have. And that is the purpose driven journey that you both are on, which is so powerful because you coming from the 30 years plus, working experience, and he coming from the new generation ideas and thoughts. He's the AI generation, and then you are the wisdom generation. So both put together, you're on your own path, helping so many coaches, aspiring coaches, and mentors, and whatnot. It's so inspiring just to watch. As you said, just to watch both of you in action is so inspiring.
Thank you so
So,
much.
yeah. So, Sri, tell me about like the origin of the guiding light, your coaches.
During the pandemic, there are people who reached out to me for fitness coaching, not for the kind of coaching that ICF has defined.
Oh,
Because I used to be an ultra marathon runner and fitness enthusiast and all of that. So that's how we started the coaching, fitness coaching, and then eventually people who came for fitness coaching, they also they said, "Hey, we also got to know that you are this PCC coach and all of that. Could you help us sort out certain things that we are dealing with?" And that's how we got into coaching the ICFA. We put a program together uh, after talking to a lot of people. 2020, a program together. We didn't have a company name. We didn't have a website. We had nothing. So Lakshan created the brochure. We named the program Know Yourself to Grow Yourself. 50 people showed interest, 10 people joined the program. Then we had to register the company. I remember the day, it was 3rd September 2020, Lakshan's 24th birthday. I told Lakshan, hey, CA is asking for a name for the company. What is the name that you have in mind? He said, Guiding Light Coaching. I said, okay, let's do it. So there was no discussion. There was no discussion about the name. He said, let's go with this. I said, okay, let's go with that. See, for me, there was no time to think. So we registered the company. Later, when we got the money, we had a website. We also didn't have a website for the company. The website was there for only, it was coachsrikant.com for many, many years. We only got our Guiding Light website last year, not even a year ago, last year, July or something like that. After we did a branding exercise with a consultant, we hired a consultant, did a branding exercise, redid the logo, redid the, I mean, not the redid the website, we got a new website and so on and so forth. That is how Guiding Light came into picture. But the first 2 years was only coaching. We never wanted to get into coaching education because we felt that that was not our space. But here we are into coaching education for the last 2.5 years, not even 3 years. And we have got some significant numbers to prove that we are doing some good work.
the coursework that you have, I heard, is very unique in its own way. And you mentor each and every aspiring coach, irrespective of which level of the next credential they're aiming for. That you have one on ones with them, you listen very deeply, and you give them like a path forward without actually advising, is what I heard. So I'm yet to witness that in the near future, I hope. But one thing that I would really like to hear from you is yes, you do one on one coachings, you are a mentor coach, you conduct a lot of workshops, and now you're into coaching education. In terms of Indian style of coaching and ICF global style of coaches, what is the main difference that you have observed?
I don't know Indian style or global style, but I will just talk about what is the difference in the way that I approach coaching and I teach coaching. Now, for me, I personally believe this is a personal belief. You can call it philosophy, whatever, whatever. A client who is coming to you, they are coming to you not because you're a coach. A client is coming to you because they have some problem that they want to solve, or they have a issue that they want to resolve, or they have a goal that they want to achieve and they need some guidance or support or whatever. Now, coaching is one approach. Like mentoring could be one approach, consulting could be one approach, coaching is one approach, right? So, what is the philosophy of coaching? Philosophy of coaching is the person who is coming to you has got all the resources to find out the answers for the questions that they have, to solve the problem that they are facing, and so on and so forth. They have the resources, but they don't have access to the resources because when they come to you in a state of unresourcefulness. So your role is to allow them access to their resources. That's my philosophy, which means I don't believe in tools and frameworks. I believe in the human who is sitting in front of me. Or let's use this framework, use this tool, let's do this. No, I personally don't believe all that is required. Then what happens is when you rely on a tool, rely on a framework, rely on an approach, you're undermining the potential of the human being who is sitting in front of you, right? So the way that I teach coaching is very simple. The way that I coach is very simple. I'm completely, what should I say? I don't know the right word. If somebody understands the power of the ICF core competencies, they don't need any tools, they don't need any frameworks, they don't need anything. Whatever they learn through ICF core competencies, if they can embody it, then I think that's more than enough. How can you use listening as a way to be present to the client? See, I'm a person who I'm saying when the client is sitting in front of you and having a conversation, don't even take notes. Don't rely on anything. Rely on the human being who is sitting in front of you. Pen and paper is a tool, don't use it. That's the kind of approach that I have. Forget about Indian way, foreign way, whatever. It's a very simple way of coaching. How can a coach use their own self so that they can be a benefit to the client? You don't need any tools.
Just authentically showing and being present in front of the person in front of you and without any hidden agenda. Without
Listen intensely so that you're able to uh, really make sense of what the client is communicating through their words and not through their words.
which is said and which is not said.
How do you listen? Yeah, how do you listen through your entire being, not only through your ears?
Wow. So, Shri, the energy that you resonate when you are in front of anybody, that has a deep impact, like beyond any coaching conversation. And I'm a big believer of it. Some people, even if you meet for 5 minutes or 1 hour, one time or multiple times, the energy that is resonated from those people will remain for forever in some cases. You're such a kind of person, I'm sure, for your coachees or mentees. Do you follow any specific practices or do you have like a any specific regimen to bring this energy into you? What is the secret?
If I tell you, it's going to be so funny. Honestly, Sandhya, I don't have any practice. Many of my mentees ask this question: How much time do you meditate in a day and all of that? I don't meditate, right? Whenever I get an opportunity, I don't know. It can be any time, right? Maybe I'm finishing a conversation with you now. I will get into a conversation with somebody else. If I had a 10-15 minute break, maybe I will sit in silence for 5 minutes. Okay, close my eyes, sit in silence for 5 minutes, and just be there, listening to whatever is coming my way. What I mean by that is I'm not chasing, looking for something. I'm just sitting there and listening, closing my eyes and just observing what sounds are coming my way. Okay, now as I sit and observe, I'm closing my eyes and I'm observing, I can hear the sound of the fan. I just make a note of it. Then I'm hearing a vehicle passing by. I think the road is next to me. I'm hearing that. So I just pay attention to that. Okay, just stops. Maybe 5 minutes I will do that. And there is no regiment, there is no routine. And then the biggest thing for me, which has worked very well, is that when I'm sitting in front of the client, I've just told myself I don't know anything about what the client is going to bring. I don't know anything about what the client is going through. I'm just going to surrender to the divine and allow the divine to work through.
That's so
And
beautiful.
I'm not even focusing on getting the client to a place, getting the client to solve a problem, nothing. I know there is a coaching process. I know I have to follow the process. When I follow the process, things will happen. Surrender is the right word. Surrender to the divine, surrender to the process. And tell myself there is nothing called a perfect coaching conversation. I'm just going back to what I said in the beginning. If there are mistakes, accept the mistakes, bring it to your awareness, and maybe the next time avoid making the mistakes. When you avoid making the mistakes, some new mistakes will happen. It's a learning process.
The word that you just said, surrender, I think that sums up the entire way of how you take this coaching forward. And that's that's the essence of being a true coach. I completely agree, and I can't admire you more than that. So one
Thank
thing
you.
that
Thank you so much.
always lingers to a lot of coaches, like ACC level or starting level coaches, they've expressed to me that they get impacted a lot after heavy coaching conversations with people who are going through tough times, and then you are taking a lot of that maybe negative energy or something, and it takes them a while to get out of it. And I know as you become the master coach, probably you'll figure out a way how you can stay detached with those emotions. What is your mantra that you want to share with coaches who struggle, and then it's very difficult for them to kind of like stay detached while being present?
Okay. One is that what I do if I go through a very draining experience coaching somebody, I do a reset. I take a break. I write down what really impacted me, and then I will take it to my. If I'm not able to resolve it, if I see it's recurring as a pattern, then I will take it to my supervisor, coaching supervisor, and address it. Yeah. So that is one thing I do. But mostly, if I reflect on that conversation, what really drained me, there will be some insights, and next time I will be prepared to insulate myself from such experiences. I keep repeating this often. People find it awkward or funny, I don't know. I always tell my mentees that I call the divine before I walk into a coaching conversation. Even during
Yeah,
the
and I
coaching
think
conversation, if I yeah, if I draw blank, I'll just very quickly close my eyes and call the divine for help.
it's amazing. So, irrespective of the religious beliefs or the spiritual beliefs that people have, do you feel that it is important that we need to lean in to the universal power to be the good coach?
Yeah. See, leaning into the divine has got nothing to do with any religious beliefs. What I mean in my thing about divine is that there are certain things that you cannot explain. When you're not able to explain something, you have to say, okay, this is something that I can't explain. Maybe I have to lean onto this thing that I'm not able to explain. Okay, for example, I'll give you an example. You have a gut feel. The gut feel cannot be explained. You can't reason out gut feel, right? So if you're not able to say that you don't believe in God, you don't believe in divine, whatever that you're drawing from your gut, that is what it is.
Right.
So yeah, that is what I would. Yeah, you don't have to believe in any religion. You don't even have to be spiritually inclined. Nothing. You don't have to be any of them. But because it cannot be proved, there are something cannot be explained. Maybe you just want to lean onto that.
That is so powerful, and that actually eases a lot of tensions from what you said. You don't have to have any regimen. Like a lot of people say, oh, you have to wake up at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., maybe have like a strict regimen, you have to write journal or whatever it is to be the best. So are you saying that we don't need anything of that and just be human?
I don't write a journal. I don't meditate. It's so funny when I'm saying this. Maybe that me closing my eyes for 5 minutes whenever I get the opportunity is a ritual that I believe. Maybe for a lack of a word, you may not need a regimen. Maybe you need a ritual, you need a practice.
That is suitable to you.
Yeah, that will work for you. So you don't have to force it onto you. You don't have to force it onto anybody else. So you are just comfortable in your space.
Great, great. So before we reach the end of the conversation tree for this round, there are like few gentle questions, quicker questions that I want to place in front of you.
Sure.
It's more like a little bit of a rapid fire, you want to call it. So, any book that kind of like gave you that long lasting effect that stayed with you?
This is not a coaching book. This is a book written by a four-time Olympian, The Courage to Succeed. I first came across this book about 15 years ago. I must have read this book more than 20 times and gifted it to more than 200 people. Nothing to do with coaching, but very practical tips to build a very successful life or a disciplined life, I must say.
That stayed with you. Nice.
Yeah.
Any leaders who have inspired you?
Dr. Abdul Kalam. His simplicity, the way that he connects with people, the way that he communicates with people, it has touched me very deeply. I've only read one of his books. I think his autobiography is what I think. But what I have learned from him, from his life story, it's incredible.
So, Sri, I know you were doing a lot of marathons before, and recently I read a post. Are you back into running and all of that, or have you taken a break?
No, I'm not back into running because I went through some health issues and doctors have been advised me not to run too long. So I'm just sticking to very, very short runs, 3 kilometers to 5 kilometers. So just to make sure that my physical fitness is
Right.
not going off, yeah, I just maintain my routine.
I'm not a runner myself, but I heard from other marathon runners that while running, it is like meditation.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah. So, do you want to share some insights while you were doing these marathons? Like, how was your mindset back then? And did that
Yeah,
also kind of like put you into this calm and present state?
that's a great question. Longest distance that I have done is about 60 kilometers. Sorry,
Wow.
50 kilometers. 50.
Wow. In
Right.
one
One was
stretch?
a very, yeah, yeah, one stretch. One run, of course, I had to walk, run because it was in a very, it was in a hill station. So there was no way that you could have continuously run. I think it took about 8 hours, 45 minutes to finish 50 kilometers. This was in 2017. That was my first ever 50-kilometer run. The second one I ran was in Bangalore. The run started at 6 in the morning. It finished at 12:15. I ran for 6 hours and 15 minutes non-stop in an under hot sun, excruciating heat.
Keep.
I ran because it's a very simple process. One step ahead of the other step. That's it. I'm not thinking much. Yeah. There's
And,
no other thinking. I'm just going to take one step ahead of the other. And you're
and
not running, I'm not competing with anybody. I'm just competing with myself. And my personal philosophy is that there's no competition for me. I am my own competition. There is no comparison for me. I don't compare myself with anyone else. I compare myself only with me. So that's about it.
right, so one step at a time, and you're your own competition, and you're on your own journey.
Absolutely.
Just inspire a few others as you go along. Simple
Yeah.
philosophy,
So the inspiring others also is not my intention.
byproduct.
Yeah, it's a byproduct. I just want to do my own thing. Just want to do my own thing. So I am competing against myself, meaning, okay, how can I do this better the next time? Okay, just to give an idea, last year suddenly I realized that suddenly, right, 12 MCCs under my mentorship, and my MCC is asking how many MCCs in India. I said I don't know. Can you do some research and find out? So I found out, and out of 22 MCCs, 12 MCCs under my mentorship, right?
Right.
So this year, because I had a baseline, this year I'm thinking maybe we should do a little bit more than 12. But I'm not, what should I say? I'm not killing myself. I'm not
Right.
killing myself. I know the process. Okay, this many mentees are there. These have the potential to become MCC this year, so I'm just going to work with them. Right? Detached. If it happens, happens. If it doesn't happen. The just before I got into this call today, one person called and told me they got their MCC credentials. Right. So the fifth MCC in 4 months this year.
That's awesome. Yeah. And what you just said between those lines, yes, I'm trying to see if there is more that I could do, but at the same time, staying detached with the success of it. And that's the essence of being you.
Exactly. Stay
Yeah.
detached.
It's beautiful, beautiful. So, just as you are mentioning, I would like to hear as a last question from my side, what is the vision ahead of you? What is a legacy that you're trying to leave?
Sandhya, this is a question that a lot of people have asked me, and I'm going to tell you the answer. I don't have a vision. Okay. The only thing that I have is that do the right thing. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. And things will fall in place.
And during this process of last 5 to 7 years that you had been building this guiding light and all of that, I've heard that the center that you have in Bangalore, probably close to the airport, is what you mentioned, is so calm and serene. And is that something that you are thinking of, like have it in our nature, I mean, in the middle of the nature, to feel more inspired, to have the calmness while you're getting trained? Is that a kind of atmosphere that you're trying to build?
Okay, so the place that we use for our residential programs is closer to the airport. It's called the School of Ancient Wisdom, right? Uh, it's a very apt place for the work that we do. If I can build a place like that, that'll be fantastic. But that is not the vision. That is not the goal. There's a place which is there. We will keep using it. Really invite people to come there, experience our way of teaching and our way of being, and
Right.
that's about it.
Yeah. So beautiful. And I really appreciate your time, your wisdom. And we can move on. I can keep listening to your calm voice for a long time, Sri. Thank you so much. I wish to meet you and Lakshan one day together and have another session, hopefully.
Sure.
With any last comments, anything for the audience that you would like to leave about life in general, anything that you would like to share?
Okay, so this is a very important thing that I want to share. When I was struggling to set up this business, coaching business, you already know that I failed twice, and then we are hoping that we are getting this right the third time. Somebody asked me, "You went to IIT, got a pedigree, good qualification. Why are you struggling? You might as well go to corporate and get a job and maybe lead a better life." So I don't understand this word better, where that came from. I said everybody has their own definition of success. What I told the person is Sundar Pichai was 3 year junior to me in IIT Kharagpur. He was in metallurgy and I was in electronics. Today, he's the CEO of Google. I won't even get a interview call from Google. But our journeys are different. So if you compare yourself with somebody else's success, you will stay miserable for your entire life. If you can be grateful for what you have and live your life aligned to your values, I think that will bring more joy than what money can bring you.
So beautiful.
So that's the reason I told you. If you ask me what my vision is, I really don't know. Keep doing the right thing.
And you're doing it so well. Not only right, but the perfect thing that you're doing. So
Thank you
you're the
so
real
much.
trailblazer, Sri. Thank you so much for sharing your time, your wisdom, your experience. And it inspires a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of
Thank
people,
you.
including me. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you.
for having me as your guest and having this conversation with me, Sandhya.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for your patience and your perseverance. And I'm wishing you all the very best. And a closing statement to the audience. I hope this conversation resonated well with you. If you need to find more information about Sri, you can directly reach out to me, or you can check out the links that I'm going to share on this podcast as well. So it's a pleasure to have you. Keep striding your own path, and it's worth it. Trust us. Be a trailblazer. Thank you so much, Sri. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.